Hello, it's me, Dark Moose, and now I'll be showing you my favorite historic brawl commander, um, was deck tech on Gyruda, my favorite brawl commander. So I'm just gonna go in and talk about the deck real quick. So we'll be discussing Gyruda. This is my perfect Gyruda deck. I've gone through a lot of iterations of this deck, and I feel like this is the best version of the deck that simply does what's advertised. So basically, Gyruda is a 6 mana, 6/6 demon Kraken. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 4 cards. Put a creature card with an even value mana cost from among from among the milled cards onto the battlefield under your control. So the whole premise of the deck is basically cast Gyruda. Ramp up, cast Gyruda, hit any of these big mega creatures that just can take over the game or get rid of opponents' key pieces on the battlefield. So we're playing a ton of creatures. We're playing 34 creatures just to be more consistent. There are lots of versions that play more counter spells, more 2 mana weak creatures that can draw, like Kitesail Freebooter, Fibblethip, stuff like that. But we're going bigger. So we are playing very few instants and sorceries. Pact of Negation is one. This is a 5 mana counter that costs 0. A great card for resolving Gyruda, because most of the time when you cast Gyruda, you want to make it resolve. Gyruda needs to resolve for its ability to trigger. It's not a cast trigger. It needs to enter the battlefield. So Pact of Negation is great because if an opponent counters or tries to kill Gyruda, whilst you're doing something, you can pact it, and by the time you cast Gyruda, you should have enough to pay for the cost next turn. We've got Brainstorm, which is a great card because whilst the trigger of Gyruda is on the stack, you can cast Brainstorm. Maybe you want to put a big creature on top to reanimate of your library with Brainstorm. It's 1 mana instant, great draw card. Sometimes you want to grab land. It's better than Opt in a way because it lets you put stuff on top of your library so that it can hit with Gyruda. So assemble the from parts. Great card because you can basically, if you have it in your hand, you can leave Gyruda in the graveyard, cast target, assemble. And the thing is, the when it perpetually gains the 3 mana ability, 3 mana exile this card, it permanently stays on it. Especially when Gyruda goes back to the command zone, you can choose to leave the perpetual ability on Gyruda. So each time it dies, you can keep recasting it, triggering Gyruda, mill 4, etc., etc. And it's not a cast trigger. You can just exile it at sorcery speed for 3 mana, so your opponent can't cast counter it. Or yeah, the only way they can get rid of it is if they exile Gyruda while it's in the grave. If that happens, you just put in your command zone, but you don't get rid of the perpetual ability. Great card, assemble. Dark Ritual, sometimes you want to boost your mana, you want to cast Gyruda a turn earlier. Since Gyruda is green, is blue or black, you can basically cast it with all black mana or all blue mana or a combination of the two. It's fine. We're playing lots of hand disruption and hand hate because you want to make sure Gyruda sticks, and you also want to disrupt your opponent's plays. So we've got Duress, hit the hand, reveal something, take non-creature non-land, hit a counter, hit their ramp piece. Inquisition, same thing. Mind Spike from Baldur's Gate, Alchemy. Also can non-creature non-land. You want to get rid of the counters. It's really useful against Roscoe decks, control type decks. You want to resolve Gyruda. Scheming Symmetry is a great one because you can tutor you and opponent put a card on top of their library. And the great thing is if you have that 1 mana to spare, you can cast Gyruda and then put whatever you want on top. Most of the time, you'll go for either something like Ulamog or Jin Gitaxis, or maybe even a Thassa to keep flickering your Garuda. Thoughtseize, just see what's going on in opponent's hand. In our 2 mana drops, we've got Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Mindstone, Ornithopter. These are ramp cards. We've got a ton of them. Skyclave, Relic, Relic of Legends, which is great because most of the creatures in your deck are legendary, so you can tap them for mana. We've got Palladium, Myrrh. These are like your essentials. You basically want to grab for your 3 mana slots. You want 3 mana cards that can Legends is really, really cool. Skycave Relic is in might need that, especially with removal, artifact removal. The kicker is also the sweet cherry on top. Celestis is great, especially since it allows you to filter your hand, and if your opponent passes without doing anything, day turns to night, discard, draw, etc., etc. Mana Geo taps of any color, but you can scry. So sometimes you might want to put a just so you can hit it with Gyruda. Your lands. Lantern Revealing is another one. Sometimes when you have enough mana, you can pump it just to, it lets you look on the top card of your library. And if it's a land, you may put it at the bottom. I mean, you can put on the battlefield tapped, or you can put it under the library if it's not. So sometimes if it's a big creature, you can just keep it on top. Something that you can hit with Gyruda. Very useful 3-mana rock. You need tutors. Grim Tutor, Scheming Symmetry, and Solve the Equation. Good tutors. Grim Tutor can grab a big creature, board wipe, removal. In board wipe, we only use creatures, so you can grab Massacre Worm if you're facing tokens, Demon of Dark Schemes. You've got Pelaka Predation, which you can grab with Solve the Equation sometimes when you want to hit your land drop, or if you want to grab some hand hate. You can Glasspool Mimic land, and it's also a copy creature. You can't hit it with Gyruda, but the fact that it's also a land makes it very versatile because it's not even CMC, it's 3 mana. 4 mana, we've got tons of creatures in our 4 mana drop. We've got Micromancer. It's also a tutor. You can search for a 1 mana instant or sorcery with value 1, reveal it, put it into your hand. You can grab Thoughtseize, Scheming Symmetry. Most times you'll probably grab a Dark Ritual. Or you can't grab Pact of Negation since it costs 0. You can grab Brainstorm. Lots of utility for Micromancer. Essence Flux allows you to flicker your creatures, so sometimes you can grab that just so you can flicker Gyruda and re-trigger its ability. And here we come to our copy cards. Gyruda has amazing synergy with copy cards where you can copy your Gyruda. We have Mirrorhole Mimic, we have Phyrexian Metamorph, we have Clever Impersonator, Undercover Operative, and Vizier. These are all the even CM cards. Most times you'll be using these cards to copy Gyruda to re-trigger its ability, or sometimes you want to copy an opponent's creature. Sometimes you want to, copy another creature of yours that's already on the battlefield with a nice ETB. So these cards are really great. We have 5 cards, and Phyrexian Metamorph is the most. Phyrexian Metamorph and Clever Impersonator the most versatile. As Phyrexian, you can cast for 3, and you can copy an opponent's mana rock, you can copy an opponent's artifact land, an opponent's creature. Sometimes you want to basically cast this on 3 just to copy one of just so you can secure Gyruda being cast early. Clever Impersonator is amazing. Non-land permanent. You can hit an opponent's enchantment, creature, anything. Most times you'll be wanting to copy either your Gyruda or something like a Denrover Horror that can bounce a permanent, and most times opponents scoop to these type of cards. So these are 4 mana copy cards. These are very important in the deck, and most times when you hit them, you want to copy Gyruda. Sometimes, and most times, you want to keep the copy so Gyruda can go back to your command zone and you can recast it. We've got amazing copy card I've got included here. It's kind of the best one since the copy is non-legendary, and then you can copy the Spark Double Gyruda copies and keep re-triggering Gyruda, and then you just have a bunch of 6/6 Spark Double copies of Gyruda lying on the battlefield just waiting to hit your. We've got Thassa Deep Dwelling, also a key card you would grab with the tutor. It's basically 4 mana. You can exile your creature at the end step and flicker it, so it re-triggers Gyruda's ability. We've got Nightclub Bouncer, basically a type of removal that can bounce your opponent's non-land permanent, and it costs 1 more to cast. You want to bounce their creatures, their artifact, their mana rocks, just to slow the opponent down and disrupt their plays. It's such a great card, especially when you can keep flickering it with Thassa or with cards like Essence Flux. We've got City Stalker Connoisseur. This is a nice card from Alchemy. It's a 4 mana 3/3 vampire. When it enters the battlefield, your opponent discards a non-land card with the greatest mana cost among cards in their hand. So it can get rid of their opponent's big end plays or the greatest mana cost they have, which they're probably going to cast the next turn. It also creates a blood token. It's such a great blocker because it has death touch, and it has excellent value in it's creating a blood token. Sometimes you want to discard a card to sacrifice it just so you can draw and filter your hand. Grazing card, it can be replaced with other 4 drops, but I like the fact that it's hand hate and it allows you to get some type of advantage in the form of a blood token. Extinction Event is the only sorcery removal, or will be 9 creature removal will be casting in the whole deck. Odd or even, exile each creature with mana value of the chosen quality. So the fact that this can get rid of opponent's tokens, and since every card in our deck is even CMC, all our top end creatures, you basically want to be choosing off, or depending on the circumstances, but it's a one-sided board wipe that can really change the battlefield. It's quite useful since it exiles as well. And you can tutor it with Solve the Equation or Grim Tutor or Burning Rune Demon. We've got Gelatinous Cube, basically an exile creature card. Target non-ooze, but most of the decks you'll be playing against are all non-ooze. Can get rid of a creature, and the fact that you can dissolve it later is amazing. So it doesn't really, it's unlike white exile type effects. This one allows you to get rid of it permanently, and you can activate it instant speed as well, the dissolve ability. Gonti, also a great card. 2/3 death touch, can look at the top 4 of opponent's library, exile one of them, and you can cast it later. It's really good against control decks or decks with amazing top ends where you can exile their big creature, or they exile a counter, or exile something you're going to cast later. And then most times you just want to just block something big with it and let it die. Gonti is not really a win condition, but it can be useful and can frustrate the opponent when you flicker it and keep getting stuff from their library. Nightmare Shepherd is one of the key pieces into going crazy with Gyruda, and most opponents won't let it sit around. Since when a non-token creature dies, you can exile it and make a token copy that's a 1/1 but keeps its abilities. So basically, what you want to be doing is, while Nightmare Shepherd's on the battlefield, you want to get Gyruda on the battlefield, copy it with one of your copy cards that aren't spark. It still remains legendary. Once the creature you can get rid of one of the Gyrudas there, it dies because of the legendary rule. It becomes a 1/1, re-triggers Gyruda. You can leave the token and then get the original to die. Leaves the token, trigger Gyruda. You can go crazy with Nightmare Shepherd, and the fact that we have a sack outlets, Phyrexian Tower, to make things go off makes it even better. Ravenous Chupacabra, 4 mana creature removal. So these cards, I'm just going to put them in a pile. These cards over here are our creature removal cards. So Ravenous Chupacabra is one. We've got Atreus, not Atreus, Urtai. Great card from Dominaria United. It's basically a creature counter. When it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 counter target creatures, a target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. It's a stifle all in one. It's amazing. Its controller draws a card. It also destroys target creature or planeswalker. Its controller draws a card. The fact that it can remove creature, it can counter on the stack, and it can also destroy target creatures, makes it really useful and versatile. We've got Hostage Taker. Exile target creature or artifact until the taker leaves the battlefield, and you can cast that copy, the exiled card. So sometimes you want to be exiling your own Gyruda just so you can cast it again and then rinse and repeat. And if your opponent kills the hostage taker, Gyruda comes back to the battlefield, and you can re-trigger it. Huge removal. Then we've got Roscoe. So we've got Atreus, which is basically draw two, because most times you'll be taking the double. I mean the double pile. You're basically enter the battlefield, look at top three cards of your library. Opponent separates them into two piles, one face up, one face down. Most times sometimes you'll just use this card just to grab a land or just to get some card advantage. Roscoe's a huge problem in the meta. Basically makes a clock, and each time you cast a non-creature spell, it makes a midnight clock. It ticks the clock up. It's a great card because it nets you one mana and 12 counters. Reshuffle your library. Excellent card. Each I cut them down, and yeah, Panharmonicon and piece. These are this is the card you want to connect with tutor along. That's a you want to search for Panharmonicon. Doubles the triggers of enter the battlefield effect for creatures and artifacts. So yeah, Gyruda double everything. Most times when this is for your opponents will scoop. If it's still then you resolve Gyruda. Amazing format. Search for land level taps. Guys draw. Not much. It's cards in a historic brawl. It's a staple in almost all decks. So here we go to your top end. All Sing Arbiter. Amazing to discard a card, and whenever you discard a card, it gets minus X, minus 0. Opponent will basically forfeit an attack that turn, since their creature is going to be very weak. And since we have all these different mana values, you can get your opponents to -6, -7 attack, and most times opponents really don't know what to do with this card, especially aggro decks. Also goes when you attack. So for 6, they bounce creatures, their top end 6 mana CMC, such as there's this 6 mana Sphinx to your hand. I wanted something with more, versatility, and this one is quite dangerous as it draws 2 cards every attack. So yeah, we've got Dream Eater, also another bounce creature, bounce non-land permanent spell, allows you to surveil 4. You can manipulate the top 4 cards of your deck, either put them in the graveyard or put them in different ordering. And it also has flash, so it's quite good. You can surprise your opponents, catch them out. Burning Room Demon, basically a tutor that can put one in the grave, despite search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Room Demon that have different names. If you do reveal those cards, an opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card in your hand and the other in your graveyard. So your opponent can choose to give you one. Most times you want to, let's say you need removal, so you tutor up 2 types of removal cards. Let's say you need a board wipe for tokens. It's mind spell. So the 2 types of cards you basically want to tutor for similar cards. Let's say you want to Vizier. It's crazy. So it's an amazing tutor. It's the fact that it's a 6 mana 6 uh and it's flying. So it's not really it's an amazing card. We've got Cemetery Desecrator, Planeswalker and creature removal. When it enters the battlefield, exile another card from a graveyard. When it dies, exile another card from a graveyard. When you do, choose one. Remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the mana value of the exile card. Or target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Since you'll be dumping so many big in your opponent, you'll be able to get rid of a lot of huge move counters. So in the new set, Phyrexian set that's coming out with poison counters, you can remove those counters from yourself. I think, or it says from target permanent, so I don't think you can remove counters from yourself. Yeah, but you can remove the counters off the clock. You can kill creatures with it. You can remove counters off planeswalkers, and the fact that it triggers as well when it's dying is quite good. You can also since it exiles key cards from graveyards, it also makes it quite great. So yeah, amazing card. Demon Lord Belzanock. Basically, it's a draw spell. 6/6 trample. When it enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Then put that card into your hand. If the card's mana value is 4 or greater, repeat this process. Demon Lord Belzanock deals 1 damage to you for each in your hand this way. We have a lot of cards, so sometimes the Demon Lord can net you a really huge hand, and sometimes you might just miss a couple of triggers. It's not really huge, but the fact that it's 6/6 flying that has a really amazing into the battlefield effect, it makes the cut. Removal, we still got Noxious Gearhulk, one of the amazing removal cards in this deck. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. So it's also life gain in this deck. And yeah, the Hourglass Coven, weird alchemy card, nets you a lot of creatures. Can easily be replaced with other 6 mana cards, but I like that it drafts twice, and each of the tags has a really amazing ability. I won't go too much into it because a lot of people don't really like these alchemy cards, and it can be cut from the deck. But I would advise you just to give it a look. It's quite interesting when you get it off. Demon of the Dogskins, just like Massacre Worm removal, hits tokens with Panharmonicon out. You can deal. It can kill. It can get -4/-4 creatures. It allows you to also reanimate those creatures, so it has amazing double purpose. Yeah, 5/5 flying, not bad. Massacre Worm, also an auto include. Hits tokens, they lose life. Basically, you can kill a lot of opponents with this type of card. Then Rover Horror, oh, deadly card. 6 mana enters the battlefield, return target permanent. So you can hit your opponent's lands. You can hit your opponent's anything on your opponent's side basically, and the fact that they have to discard makes it quite an annoying card. Copying this with Spark Double, any of these cards, or flickering it most of the time, and has opponents concede, especially when you hit their lands. And our 2 10 mana Taxius enter the battle at the end of each opponent. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. Even if it dies, as long as it hits end of turn and you draw 7, great card for draw. If your opponent doesn't kill it, they basically have to discard their hand that turn at the end of their turn. And we've got Ulamog, indestructible 10/10. What can you can't really complain much about it. Amazing card. Lands, basically any dual land. Most of them you want to have like a bit of utility. I kept one Mistvault Bridge since it has indestructible, and there are lots of times when my lands keep getting killed, destroyed. Drown Catacomb, Underground River. I try to get put a. We've got Forsaken Crossroads. That's full. For different districts, late game you might want to draw a card, but you can cut it out just for basic. We've got Otawara, Soaring City, can bounce a creature, can bounce an artifact, enchantment, planeswalker, quite useful. Castle Locked Vein for draw. Takanuma, you can mill, get some creature card back in your hand, and yeah, that's pretty much the deck. Gyruda is quite fun, and we'll just go into a game and just to showcase the deck. Okay, let's get into a game. Let's see what we can do with Gyruda. Not a lot of really interesting methods of playing Gyruda. I know that there are lots of control based versions. Base versions are quite terrible since when you cast Gyruda, most you would rather just play any other Dimir commander apart from Gyruda or Rusko. Okay, so we've got Ramp with Dark Ritual, we've got Arcane Signets. Yep, this is a really interesting, amazing hand. We're playing Sorin. Okay. I think I'm going to get a Swamp just so we can Dark Ritual later. Some people love to dock ritual quite early, of getting thoughts, but we're going to kind of wait a bit just to see what the opponent is going to play. I would rather play Arcane Signet as a bit. Okay. Opponent is going to draw off Esper. I don't mind. We'll pass. Yeah, I'm not really afraid of this type of commander. It's mostly just life gain and yeah. Okay. So we could go for Gyruda here, but I actually want to maybe block the Ajani that's going to come in turn. So let's just Conti. Let's play a bit slow. Let's keep Murderous Riders to get rid of the Sorin. There's not really any rush with this type of deck. Sorin is not really dangerous. I'd have not really lost against Sorin with this type of deck. Okay, opponent still has no ramp. I'm solemn. Get more mana. No rush. We won't even have to dock ritual. I don't feel, but we still have to. Let's just still wait a bit. Okay. Keep the Sconti on defense. Ajani's Primate can grow, especially if he gets that. Oh, is he going to attack in? Does he have a combat trick? Oh, speaker. Okay. So I think his main theme is. So he's not going to grow. So he might have swords to plowshares. So maybe let's cast Gyruda. And let's see. I won't use Dark Ritual yet, because if you might remove Gyruda now. Yep. Yeah, Soul Shatter. Not a problem. Yep. We have. That's why we kept the Dark Ritual. Okay. I could copy something. I think I'm going to copy the Solemn. With Undercover Operative. We get more land. Just keep hitting our land drops. I might not even get to. I might not even play Dark Ritual next time. He's going to screw. Yeah, it's too much value. Just keep casting Gyruda. Yeah, GG. Okay, let's go into game 2. And let's see. Let's see what we can do with this game. Okay, against Vicort, against the first sliver. Oh, this could be tough. Lucky we go first. I could see him here. Oh, the thing is, let's see if he's an actual sliver deck or if he's sliver spell slinger. I'm sure he's sliver spell slinger. Yep. Oof. So let's get rid of the Oracle of the Alpha. He's got a Cruelty of Gigs. He's got a Kami War. So he's not a traditional sliver deck. He just basically wants to cascade into like one of his big hits. Let's put blue, and I'll search with black with Fable. And next turn, I think I might cast the Panharmonicon. Opponent doesn't have any ramp or acceleration in the deck, so we're currently kind of ahead. They just play a tap land and pass. We're in business. So we'll play a Skyclave. Yeah, opponent's kind of behind. He was greedy with his hand. He kind of relied on the Oracle too much. Now he has no turn 3 play. Hopefully he has no turn 3 play. So we'll see about that. We'll just grab an island. We'll say go. Now next, if... Oh, this is going to be good. So I can basically we're going to duress him. Opponent might get pissed now. 4 mana. Ooh, destroy all non-land permanents I control. I think we'll take the Ruinous Ultimatum because we're going to make him discard twice with City Star Connoisseur next turn. So, let's see if our opponent has the business. Oh, Oracle Mundaya. Oh, here come the ramps. So the game isn't ended. Okay, so let's go. Let's cast. Actually, yeah, let's cast City Stock Connoisseur. Opponent discard. So high mana value cost. So Thought Distortion is gone. And decide with, yes, there's the Calming War. Okay, and then, okay, I think we're going to pass. Opponent might take an extra turn here to just get more mana. Or he might go first sliver. Oh, extra turn. Yeah. He wants to hit more mana. Smart. He has no land on the top. Oh, yes, no land. Excellent. So he might just play the Cruelty of Gix. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's do some cascading, baby. And he hits black markets. And he plays a land. And another land. Opponent's going off. So we're going to discard the cube. Okay, so do we go for Gyruda or do we go for Denrover Horror? I think we go for Denrover Horror. We bounce their Oracle so they don't ramp anymore. But I think they'll just replay it. Oh, he's discarding it. Okay, then we hold. Let's see. What is he going to do? Is he going to reanimate it? Ooh, okay. Opponent is tutoring. 4 mana. What will he play? Languish? He can play Languish. Yes. The issue, if we play Cruelty of, if we mill something really big into his graveyard, he'll just recast Cruelty and then basically hit it. So what did he put in the grave? Okay, he put Emergent. Oh no. He basically tutored for Mystic's Mastery. He's got a Mystic's Mastery in his hand. I'm sure he does. So what do we do? We gotta go for Gyruda, baby. I'm sure he has Mystic's Mastery. Conti? Conti. Finding. And we'll play Omniscience. Let's bounce some lands back to his hand. I think he has a Mystic's Mastery and he's basically going to cast. Oh, maybe I should have been casting the Drenova Horror just so I could flicker. Let's go in with the City Stalker. I think he's going to use Mystic's Mastery. Oh no. He's going to make it. Oh, I think this could be it for me. I kind of messed up. What I should have been doing is copying the Drenova Horror and just bouncing his lands. Yep. Okay, so he's going to cast Scholar and then he's going to use Omniscience. And then what is yep. It destroys all my non-land permanents. He got me. He got me good. And he's got Cruelty of Gigs. So he can basically if his Scholar dies, get it back. Yep, I kinda messed up there. I bind his what will he do first? He'll just bring it back, will he? Okay, I think we'll cast Noxious Gearhawk. Gain some life. Ah, I should have seen that coming. I didn't think that I knew he cast a spell. Okay, Cruelty. What is he going to do? Okay, it's going to get that's not a problem. We're going to bounce. The thing is, I've got Menace, so it's that I have Menace. Okay, he knows. But I've got Binding, so do I get? No. Let's find out. Let's kill the fairy. That was a huge blunder on my end. I don't know how we can. If he casts the first level, what is he going to get? Okay, Conti. I think now I can kill his Skull of the Trove. Okay, Paradise Druid. Interesting. Ooh. I don't have any. Yeah. Okay, Hourglass Coven. We probably okay. Let's not attack. So I think he's just going to cast the first level. Yeah, his graveyard needs to be exiled. Oh, he's gonna play Demon Lord Belzenok. Okay. Spell. Oh, he can actually board wipe. He has enough to board wipe. Oh my gosh. And an extra turn spell. Wow. Yeah. Insane. Oh, okay, he's going to foretell. Turn. board wipe. I think he's thinking of taking an extra turn and then just hitting in the air. Okay. It's this game. Don't see an out for us. My blunder. Can we kill? No. Ooh, he's even. I don't even have lethal on board. Yeah, I think that's good game. I kind of messed that up. I didn't see that. I knew he was going to tutor for something. I just didn't expect it to be Scholar. If it was Mizzix's Mastery, we would have just been dead. But yeah, he got me. GG opponent. I should have seen that coming. Let's go to our next game. Hopefully we can get a nice win. What was my thinking of that game? What is my play? Maybe I should have copied the Gyruda and digging deep. Might have found something nice. Okay. There's no ramp here. And we're playing Arvod. This is interesting. I've never seen this card being played. Okay, we've got some ramp here. This is interesting. At the events if you each die this turn. Okay. So is it aristocrats? You get plus X with the number of times. Okay. Let's name black here. Go for panharmonic. It's always the greedy play. Okay. We do play panharmonicon. Yeah, it doesn't seem like I'm in any rush, so let's see. It's weird. We play against Roscoe, then we just come up against these types of commanders. Sacrifice a creature, scry 1. Oh, okay. So he's basically going to, yeah, aristocrats. He's going to keep sacrificing his creatures, increasing Arvod's strength and power. And yeah, okay. Interesting. The thing is, I can kill our Arvod now. I can kill 2 cards of his. Thing is, do I want to? I think so. I think we're gonna destroy two of his cards. Which is I don't think it's a big issue. Let's see. I might regret this later. Oh no, blood on. Yep. I use a ton of life with Plum. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen this card. And he drafts something from the spell book. And he drains me again. Interesting turn. So he's going to just drain. Interesting. Let's play Forsaken Crossroads. Let's play black. Do we scry or do we untap? I think untap because Gyruda is going to trigger twice. So I might want to mind spike him. So we can get you. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, Cemetery Desecrator. Oh, let's exile Shieldred. Let's exile Blood Artist, just to be sure. Do we get the Unwilling Green? Ah, a pony up. Too much value. I'm getting out everything. GG opponents. Yep, that's what Gyruda's supposed to do when you cast him. Oh, that's twice I've drawn Panharmonicon. Okay, let's go for one last game. The thing is, I'm not using the tracker MTGA assistant to. I don't have it like purchased, so I don't think it keeps track of my win loss rate. I'll have to check that up. But you can tell me in the comments if MTGA assistant, like if it still tracks your win loss ratio of the deck, even if you haven't purchased the full bundle. So we have a Dark Ritual in hand, but we have, which we can Dark Ritual into a Chromatic Lantern. I think I might do that. Playing Gargos, okay. Or do we wait a bit? I think we wait. We'll play a Waterfront District first. Okay, so just going to beat me down with Hydras. Interesting. Okay. We're going to use Dark Ritual to cast Gyruda. Interesting, okay. Hungering Hydra. I've never played this commander. So Gyruda's really interesting. It's strange because you play against either very powerful decks or the queue is very weird, or weird off-meta decks like this, because this is not a meta deck at all. Gargos is very strange. Oh no, he's got a reclamation sage. There goes my mana rock. I'm so happy I didn't Dark Ritual turn 1 into Chromatic Lantern. Okay, we still got this. So if we Dark Ritual here, that's 6. I think let's do it. Or do I want to Hourglass Coven? No, because we can quasi-duplicate next turn. Now, do we get the disc? No, let's ramp. Let's ramp up with Solemn. Okay, let's grab Island. And then I can Clever Impersonator the Gyruda. Put Gyruda in my commands. No, keep Gyruda in the graveyard. Then a symbol from parts. Oh, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Yeah, play your key to the archive. Doesn't matter. I can assemble the parts. Oh yeah, I can do it all in one turn because of our Phyrexian Tower. Yes. Oh, opponent. I think opponent's going to scoop now. Let's see. Okay, so first, let's go in first. Okay. We Clever Impersonator Gyruda. Yep. GG opponents. Oh, shame. Okay, that was the deck. Hope you liked it. If you have any other tips or advice, you can let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching. Gyruda, Doom of the Depths. Excellent commander.